Our next profile is of a man who has changed the way generations of public school students think about and participate in dance. Jacques D'Amboise is considered one of the finest classical dancers of our time. And he's now training young people, not to become great dancers necessarily, but rather to use dance to express themselves. Jacques D'Amboise grew up in dance, starting ballet school at 7 and becoming a professional at 15. His illustrious career on stage garnered dozens of awards. But while many dancers of his stature would be developing companies of their own, D'Amboise took a step in a different direction.
National Dance Institute is not a dance company. It's engaging children for learning about the arts using dance as a catalyst.
5, 6, 7, you go. 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. Go 1. Knees.
You think back to that teacher or that friend or that parent that got you into something. And that's what happened to me, to be involved in the arts very young and on high quality affected me. And I believe that the arts should be necessary to the learning of everyone, especially children.
Unlike other programs that attract kids after school or on the weekends, National Dance Institute programs take place during the school day.
National Dance Institute is working with about 20 schools in the New York City area, which means about 3,000 dancers this school year. In addition, we have programs nationally. In this school, it's the entire 4th grade. Some schools, it's the 5th grade, and some schools, it's the 4th and 5th grade. But it's across a grade level. We insist that it's not a pull-out program or that they don't select, the talented and gifted program, but it's across the grade level.
That's 3. Freeze.
In programs like this, it doesn't work if you have teachers doing it. Not that we don't have great music teachers and great dance teachers, but when professional dancers come from outside and they treat the children like they do dancers, not school students, there is an authenticness that comes through that they can do it like no one else.
The blade, 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 go, blade, blade, you go, go, blade, blade.
We create little competitions. We create, almost support groups where somebody would use models of excellence and somebody stands up and they do a step beautifully. Now everybody, they've raised the bar and now everybody has to do it.
Freeze. Give him a round of applause. Everybody up. Rodrigo, come right up front. Rodrigo goes, then you go.
Well, it's kind of different from most dancing I've ever done because it's not as delicate, and instead of being soft, you're supposed to be loud and really make a difference.
PS 199 on the Upper West Side has an inclusion program which allows it to serve children with various needs and abilities.
When the children come to the school, if they have a physical disability and they are still in general education, it could be a 3rd grader who has limited mobility, but is sitting in a general education 3rd grade class and is doing 3rd grade work. That's one piece of inclusion. Another piece of inclusion can be a student who might be in a wheelchair and have cerebral palsy and may or not be able to speak and may or may not be on grade level. In reality, inclusion means finding the right setting with the right services at the right place. Our general education, able-bodied children have developed great rapport with the children with different abilities. And it's not sympathy, it's really becoming a friend and understanding limitations and still being one's friend.
We go to the right. 2, 3.
I think even in an inclusive school, there are very few opportunities where the children in chairs interact with the standing children. And here's an opportunity for that to happen.
1, 2.
We have a group called Special Forces, and we are split up into groups of 3 people. I think it's great for them to be able to dance with us.
Go forward!
At first I was a little nervous because I was hoping that I wouldn't do anything wrong for them and I wanted to make them happy. But then I noticed that it's just a lot of fun working with them. It's great.
I think it's really easy to think of dancers in chairs as fragile. and to be unwilling to set the bar because we feel sympathy for dancers who have, particularly this group, such severe limitations. So there's a reluctance, I think, to expect a lot of them. But one of the things I've found in this program is that when we do expect as much as they're able to do, I mean, we tend to say what we expect from them is something we know they can do, but that is a little bit higher than what they ever believed that they could do. And they really do rise to the challenge.
You know what?
And you.
Think of starting on 4 so that you actually start moving on 5. Do you know what I mean?
I know it's a little harder for them to dance, but they're the ones holding the whole dance together. Like without them, it'd just be a little bit boring. It's just really fun to see the dancers and chairs actually getting to do what other people get to do.
Think about it. You can't move without this 200-pound machine. All you can do is work that switch. You've never had to turn that machine in 8 counts exactly. You've never even thought about turning it. Backing up? Back the wheelchair up? No, they don't back it up. So here they have to back it up to control time, and they have to move forward, and then they have to turn. They are taking control of the robot that is part of their mobility. It's a tremendous accomplishment.
Keep going, keep going.
Amy, she's got cerebral palsy and very, very limited in her ability to move, but just the touch, you know, just encouraging her to participate, even if it's assisted participation, she started to really laugh. I asked 2 of the dancers to actually do that as part of the step.
Push her forward.
And you could kind of see that the dancers the standing dancers, as we call them, were uncomfortable. But I noticed in the class that the more I did it, the more I was sort of hands-on and participating with Amy, the more comfortable the other children were, and the happier Amy got. That too is amazing to me.
Keep going back.
At the end of the year last year, we met with the dancers in the Special Forces, which is that class. And we asked them, you know, what's different for you? What did you learn? You know, what was the best thing about working with the standing dancers? What was the best thing about working with the dancers in chairs? And one of the children, who's this lovely, beautiful boy, said, well, he was so honest. He said, at the beginning of the year, I was afraid to be around them because I was afraid it was a disease that I would get. And so I was afraid to touch them and afraid to go near them. And he said, and now I don't want to leave.
Could they make sure when they do this, that this happens?
It's not about training professional dancers. It's really about allowing children to have the opportunity to engage in the arts, to participate in the arts by doing. It's about a teacher who believes in the excellence that resides in every child.
Whoa! Hold still. Ready? Cut. Print. We got it. We got it. Well done.